Look, hear me out. You have to find who you are. You got to. If you don't know who you are, you're going to be pulled in directions that you don't even know. You have to be stern. You have to be strict with who you are. You have to protect yourself. There's so many things that will get you off course, will get your mind thinking about something else, will get you moving a way that you never even thought you would be moving because you weren't strict on how you move. You really have to figure out how do I want to be perceived? How do I want to, react to things or respond to things? How do I want to go about this whole business? If this is what you want to do, the art, the entertainment. Yeah. Because if you're not strict on it, you can get tired. You can get pushed to ways that it gets that deep. you can't come back from. Marcus.
Yeah. Shout out Marcus.
Big time.
And shout out Randy for being on the Vino Conversations podcast. We're here. Once again, this is an LA recording. This is episode 19 of Vino Conversations. And now you are officially the second R&B singer on the podcast. So welcome, bro. Introduce yourself real quick.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My name is Randy White, R&B artist, producer, engineer, editor, anything.
Performer at Vino Vriday now. You know
Vino Vriday.
Appreciate you sliding through. How was it for you, bro?
I appreciate you even inviting me, having me, all of that. It's big love.
Shout out Zach for the connection.
Yes, big time. Big time. When he texted me, it was even cool because I don't even know if I should be saying this, but he told me that he gave you like a cool little list of some people.
No, I definitely threw a bunch actually.
That's very fire, and you
I narrowed it down. I was like, that's the vibe.
That's
it felt perfect.
Tight.
No, honestly, bro.
Big love, bro.
Yeah, congrats on everything you're doing. The music is there. It's resonating, and it's only up from here. Honestly,
thank you,
100%. So we got to get into it again. We are out here in Los Angeles, where you're from. So what was your childhood like growing up? I know you just mentioned you was kind of moving between the Valley and LA, but what was that experience like? What music were you listening to, and how did that kind of shape your taste and sound?
Yeah. I mean, in general, it was really the two-sided lifestyle where like, I'm going to school around a whole bunch of a group of people that are used to one way of living and used to, I'm around a lot of people with money, et cetera, et cetera. And then I go to basketball practice that it's a little bit more, rough or people are, struggling, whatever. So it's really just that two-sided. And I wasn't really, I was blessed. I'm so grateful for, my upbringing and my parents, my mom specifically, but just in general, I wasn't, we had nights that we didn't have food. So, or we were eating with the lights off, and that's just what it is. And so it was always a two-sided lifestyle growing up for me, seeing one way, living one way, and kind of just figuring out who I am. And music really, I feel like bridged that gap for me. Shout out, I mean, major Michael Jackson fan, especially growing up.
Yeah. The GOAT of all GOATs for real, man.
Different level. Just ridiculous. People passing out, just looking at him.
We want to talk about, because the word aura is becoming very popular now. If you want to define aura,
Michael Jackson.
Bro, what he did globally, there's no comparison. I don't even know if you can recreate that anymore because of social media.
It's kind of,
because he was like untouchable.
Kind of scary.
The level, no, it definitely goes too far. Scary. It definitely goes too far. I'd say closest would be Beyonce. Shout out her. She actually just performed in LA yesterday.
Yeah,
it's still not the same again because of the modern times and access, but it does get crazy.
But I would say Beyonce is
she's the closest though.
She got aura.
Oh,
the aura
for sure,
is crazy.
Different. Very different.
Beyonce. So yeah, I would say. But Mike Jack.
Okay, so Mike was one of them.
Marvin Gaye. A lot of the old R&B music.
Yeah, the soul.
Yeah, 100%.
What's going on? One of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh man, Heater. I remember I did one of my friends, his dad had like a retirement party. He wanted me to do some covers. I never do covers. I'm just not a fan of doing covers.
When was this? This like recently?
Probably the end of 2024, maybe beginning.
That's recent.
Beginning.
That's
it was pretty recent.
Yeah.
And it was super fun. We did some Marvin Gaye stuff. It was just cool with the band and everything. Yeah, it was
amazing. That's amazing,
it was
bro.
Fire.
Any other like more recent artists that you were listening to as well growing up that kind of inspired with you?
Realistically, I don't listen to much music right now. I really listen to me. I'm trying to, focus on my own sound, focus on just ways to make my sound better, the writing, the production, everything. And so whenever I'm in the car, I'm always just listening to my own stuff. And
I've actually never heard that from an artist.
Really?
Yeah, I usually hear that like, I don't like listening to myself. Like the only,
Oh, I also think I'm like the best. So it's kind of hard to, I like my music.
Yeah,
like,
you should.
I write the songs and after I write it, it feels like it's it's literally me in audio
Musical
form, you know. So it's amazing, and yeah. So I kind of only listen to me.
Yeah.
But I would say, you know, major Bryson Tiller fan, major
Goat, man.
Chris Brown fan, like just you know,
the new age goats for sure.
Yeah, they're just amazing. Frank Ocean.
Yeah,
there's so many different. Exactly. Just so many different sounds. I think that fit in the same genre of R&B and pocket, but they're completely different.
I agree.
And I'm such a fan of that. I love how we're able to find your own sound in, you know, the overall genre of R&B.
100%.
Sure.
And that goes into kind of one of my themes within Vino Vriday is new age R&B, which is why I'm working with an artist like you, Safa, about to drop the Power with her, and everything like that. Is that I feel like the new age is underrated, to be honest. Like you hear a lot of stuff from kind of the unks and aunties talking about, oh, it's not like the old school, the 90s, like, but it's way more diverse right now. You just explained it clearly. Chris Brown, Frank Ocean, Bryson Tiller. That's only 3, but they're 3 at the top doing completely different music. That didn't exist in the 90s. It was Crying in the Rain or Dancing in the Club. That's
right,
it.
Exactly.
And it was sounded
the same.
And they was lying.
It kind of had the tape feel. It was all in the big studio. Yeah, exactly. It was the videos were the same. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Because it was all major label stuff too. Exactly. So it was packaged the same way.
Exactly. And so I think, dang, that proves a point. I think with this kind of surgence of independence within the music and keeping your independence and keeping all your percents and all of that stuff and not signing and stuff, I think that has built a little bit more creativity, maybe.
Yeah, more individuality for sure.
Yeah, individuality. That's the word. Because I don't want to say they weren't creative. Definitely crazy creative. They were the foundation.
Of course.
You know?
No, shout out the legends. We love the legends. Love Usher.
I mean, I just listed off, you know.
We went to the 70s.
Exactly. So, but yeah, there definitely is now a big group of artists, a group of, honestly, a surge of artists. There's a lot of people making music right now, and and everybody is unique and has their own sound and their own brand and story and vision, and it's very cool to watch. It's interesting though with 100%. This whole social media thing. It's interesting, but it's cool.
Not to mention too how much more global it has become. 100%. Thames, Afro R&B.
Oh my goodness.
Tyler, Iris Star, even Wizkid, some of his vibe. I know he's an Afrobeat artist, but some of it's kind of R&B melodies over it. So not to mention the UK is going crazy right now. We had Georgia, K1 with that Do What I Say song is going crazy as well. So many artists out there. I don't know if you know Nippa, for instance. He just dropped a project.
Don't know. I don't.
I would recommend him. I think I could actually see y'all collabing one day for sure.
Easy Money,
he's an up and coming R&B singer out from North London. He's fire. So yeah, it's like when you add in the globalization of the genre too. Come on, bro. I think it's what more do you want from the genre?
We're gonna see where it goes, because I feel like the sky's the limit. You know, the whole music industry is probably, I think, gonna take a turn pretty soon. It just seems like there's a lot going on in the music industry. There's a lot going on in LA, and there's just, you know, it feels like some kind of shift is getting ready to happen, you know, that we're not really expecting. So.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be probably about the distribution of music.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's how people sell it. I think all of that is gonna be a lot different. Because
the streaming is just not. It's just not profitable for people, bro. It's like what 0.003 per stream.
Yeah, but it's easy for the consumer. So So that's why it's interesting. That's why I don't really know where, you know. Obviously, none of us know. But I'm really curious on where it's gonna go, because the consumer is always first, especially when it comes to the business side of you know, music, of anything. The consumer's first, so it's easy for the consumers right on their phone. You can go to your app. Everybody has the app. Yeah, exactly.
Songs,
exactly. A day, like I saw a stat like 144,000 songs get dropped a day. Like,
I believe it. You think about the entire world, like,
and that's wild. That's wild. And so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And I noticed not to bring up the Drake Kendrick thing, but they were dropping some of those songs on Instagram. And then J. Cole too, some of his new tracks were on Instagram. And then I think as he was re-releasing his mixtapes onto streaming, he had like this little website that was set up maybe through Even.
Really?
I think Even might be the platform.
Really?
Yeah, and so I think there's just new ways for people to go kind of direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Even like with like the blockchain and Ethereum and all that. So I heard of this guy, DJ Love, I think is his name. He's a very big DJ, but he had people essentially bid for 7 slots to have like lifetime access to his shows.
Oh, that's tough.
With backstage passes for all his shows, partial ownership in his some like because with a smart contract you can literally make it whatever you want.
Right.
And he made like $3 million off the top 7 slots because it was like a bidding war.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
That's
so
nasty.
it's like the way there's just, and he just literally made up, all right, I'm going to do this, do that. And it worked. You know what I mean? So just the way you can connect with your fans is going to be completely different. I think La Russell, you can invest in his career.
I was just about to bring
and shout
that
out
man
Kenzo
up.
who
Shout out
spins for La
Kenzo.
Russell from yesterday. Yeah.
You know, La Russell is paving a whole new lane. Man. That man is different. I've been tapped in for a minute. I'm a huge fan of La Russell.
Yeah.
Big fan. Yeah. So I'm excited to see where he's gonna go and where he's gonna create, because I just see him changing a lot of stuff in this whole music stuff. Yeah
100%. And shout out Nipsey, RP Nipsey out here in LA,
big time,
because he was pushing it out the trunk, as they would say, you know what I'm saying? So he definitely really was a pioneer in it, and just speaking on that independence from an early stage as well.
Right, 100%.
So definitely shout out Nip.
I heard he was selling his mixtape for like a band, like crazy prices for just because,
and it worked. I think Jay-Z bought 10.
And that's
because of the belief in your project, and like what is even the worth of music.
It's super fire.
So people invested in it too. And then La Russell does also like pay what you can.
I love that.
Which
that
is
whole
cool.
system.
So it can be $1 or someone's like, I'm gonna spend 1,000 so I can help the other people. Like
exactly.
That's really cool.
And I think it allows everybody to come in the building and have fun and participate. And you know, I think it's just an amazing system. I'm a huge fan of La Russell.
Yeah.
Crazy fan. For sure.
For sure. But speaking of independence, you yourself, independent artist.
Yes, sir.
So what's that journey been like for you?
It's amazing. It's long, but I find there's so many blessings along the way.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole, you know, figuring out your brand, talking to, you know, people, figuring out who can be a part of your team, bringing on homies that you know for so long, and now they can, you know, support in different ways that maybe they didn't know, I didn't know, whatever. Shout out Jalen, my manager. Shout out Marcus, like I said earlier, helps me with a lot of fashion stuff. Shout out, there's so many different people that I'm able to bring along the journey that hopefully I can be beneficial for their life as well. Not only just, you know, getting help, but I want to serve.
Reciprocal.
You know? Exactly. I want it to be mutually beneficial. And so the whole journey it's long though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's long.
You gotta, bro. Like,
you gotta work. It's really about, you know, if you want to do the independence, and that's what I want to do. I've never really been a kid like, oh, I just got to get signed. I can't wait till I get signed.
The big check. Like,
and I don't really know why I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't in my head like that when I was young. So I've always known I wanted to own my business. I've always known I wanted to understand, okay, if I know how to edit the video, now I can hire somebody to edit the video, but I know the language to speak with them and tell them how I want it and whatever. If I need something keyframed or if I want some color, you know, different, whatever.
Talking the talk for real.
Exactly. So
it's different when you know actually how to do it.
Complete engineering, and that goes to everything, all of the things that go into the artistry. And so with me wanting that knowledge, just in general, it made sense for me to stay independent. I've had a couple times where I could have, but it just didn't make sense. But man, it's a beautiful thing though when you can move the way you want creatively. It means a lot more when you can say what you want and not feel like you have someone over you that's watching and
like this didn't have to get signed off and then vet this and like, okay, you can't ask him this, publicist in the back and all that.
You got this, so you can't say that because you don't want to mess that relationship up if you do that. And then it's just so many there's so many ins and outs to it when you're signed, and I can't even speak about it. So because I've never been signed, I can't speak about it fully. I can see from the outside looking in,
for sure.
But I personally just love the independence, the whole independent route. The first time I seen some money from music was just so cool because it was like,
unreal, bro. Congrats on that. I mean, being able to monetize whatever you're passionate about is to me the beginning of making it.
100%.
I know they talk about making it could be House in the Hills, we're out here in LA and stuff. That might be the end of making it, but just being able to monetize your passion in whatever it is incredible. So obviously, congrats to you on that, bro.
I appreciate that, man. In general, though, you choose your win. Like you choose the line.
It's arbitrary, bro.
It's all yours. It's all up to you. You know, to decide, okay, if I'm able to do this, then I decide, okay, I've won. I've made it. You know, that whole line is it's up to you.
And it's relative because it keeps changing.
Exactly. You know, it's gonna continue to change. Once you make it, you want to make this, and then so the whole thing, and especially just being from LA, man, it's everywhere you look. Everybody has a line for themselves in LA.
It's that type of city, bro.
Exactly. And since I've been here for all my life, it's just it's interesting seeing myself grow and being aware of the moves that I make, because with my mom being from Philly, my dad being from Indiana.
Your mom's from Philly?
Yeah.
I used to live in Philly before.
Oh, big fire. Don't ask me Philly questions, because
cool.
I am from...
Go Eagles, though.
Yes.
I'm not an Eagles fan, but they won.
I'm not a big football fan, but
me neither.
if I had to, Eagles for sure. But with my parents being from other places and not being from LA, I do feel like I maybe am a little bit more aware of my LA tendencies and the things that I do, that I'm like, oh, why'd I say it like that? Or, like, why do I move like that? Because sometimes the whole... I've had about 3 conversations in the last 2 days about this LA...
Put me on, bro. I'm here. I'm wearing my New York shit, so put me on.
I mean, specifically, I mean, I was talking with a couple of girls, and they were talking about LA men and just how they're really boxed in. And like, I don't want to say they are, but they kind of are. They're kind of messed up a little bit, you know? Like,
explain that.
Everybody wants to make it out here, it seems like, but it's very expensive. So not a lot of people got bread in general. And so I could see from a girl's perspective, like a guy coming up to them and inviting them somewhere and then not being ready to pay for it or something. I keep hearing that over and over and over. It's very weird to me. That's not me.
Reputation of that.
And I don't want to. I can't spoke person. I can't be that person. But I mean, that's just what I've heard multiple times. With multiple women that have talked to multiple guys. So it is interesting. But I think what I said to her was that I think that LA guys have a expectation on them sometimes from the LA women. Sometimes, from it could be from themselves. It is from themselves, regardless, because whatever expectation you hear from somebody, and you take it on, that's you taking it on. It's not you don't own it until you decide to own it. But I think that some of the things that LA guys do is because we feel like we need to move that way in order to maybe make sense, or maybe fit in some way, or maybe feel an insecurity or something like that. Because I do think that LA in general, not just men, not just women, seems to be a pretty insecure place. We hide a lot. We hide a lot. In that way of like we put on a face a lot. We put on. We don't share a lot of things. We with this business and with this music industry and with everybody wanting to make it, it seems like a lot of people, are a little bit more manipulative, a little bit more sly, a little bit more,
For sure.
And so, which I don't think is completely wrong because of the area. I think it's wrong because of my morals. But because of the area, I understand it. I understand that sometimes you got to move a certain way to whether it's make it, whether it's just survive. Honestly, a lot of times it's to survive, and it's to fit into a place that maybe you don't feel comfortable or anything. So this whole LA is interesting, but please don't make me the spokesperson.
Nah, you're not. You're good, bro. You're putting me on. I feel like that is already, though, a little bit. I didn't know about the whole not paying thing. That's very interesting to me. Hopefully that's only a few of y'all.
It is interesting.
Don't
say y'all.
Yeah, not y'all. My bad.
That ain't me.
Whatever city you're in, if you're going to invite her out.
Right.
And shorty, if you're going to invite him out, actually, if you're going to invite anyone out, like, yo, I'm going to take you out, that means you're covering what's going on. That's like logical. That's just hosting culture.
I wouldn't ever.
You know what I mean? Like, even your homie, like your homie's in town visiting.
Yeah,
I got you, let's go to
just
dinner.
Just lock him in for him.
Yeah, it's like, you got it? Like, what? You invited me?
Crazy.
That's crazy. In general, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
But that is what I hear about LA, though, for sure. Is like, it is more of a fake place. Insecurities, but I do hear also more of the fakeness comes from the transplants,
right?
Trying to make it more than the people from the neighborhoods here.
I hear that. I hear that a lot too.
You know what I mean?
I think it's a combo.
Yeah, that's fair. Nah, because you can be fake from Crenshaw too, like or whatever.
I think it's a combo. Yeah,
it's interesting. And then New York, I would say, obviously there's fakeness in New York too, but I think people are a little more blunt a little more to your face.
100%.
Whether that's New Yorkers from New York or that's within the different industries, I think people cut the shit a bit faster.
Yeah, I think it's also
they
the
get
time.
straight to the point. It's much faster.
Yeah, New York is like,
New York is
what we
quick,
doing? What we
dog.
doing? We don't have time to be talking about nothing.
And there's people obviously do the facades. You'll see the IG story, which is a highlight reel of life, and they're not gonna maybe share the difficulties. But I feel like New York does have more realness in the creative world than here, is at least what I hear.
Yeah.
But people be fake everywhere, bro.
People are fake everywhere.
You can't avoid. That's just human nature.
You can't even put that on a location.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, and people move everywhere. There's people from everywhere everywhere. So it's just, it's just people. It's just how people are. That's how
100%.
Life is. I think social media plays a big role.
Yeah, let's get into that, bro.
Everything.
I mean, what's been your relationship with social media as an artist? Because what I asked the other artists as well was like, comparison's the thief of joy. And we just talked about kind of like seeing all these highlight reels, not knowing what other people are going through. But at the end of the day, in your own journey, it is literally your own journey, and you have to just stay tunnel vision. But even knowing that you have to do that, it can be difficult seeing everything around you. So 100%. How do you stay focused in your own mind, knowing what's for you is meant for you, and try to kind of quiet out the noise? Because I know it can be difficult at times, for sure, especially in LA, R&B. Like, that's tough, bro. That's tough. Yeah,
definitely difficult. But I tend to not use much social media. I kind of only use it to post, really. Like, I
not
post and get out, really. Yeah,
post and get out.
Exactly, I post and get out. And
that's
so
smart,
that keeps life, like, real and, like,
that's
reality
deep,
in a sense, for me to not feel like I need to, because I don't see a lot. I do pay attention to and follow pages that I feel like I want to, see and want to keep up on.
Maybe informative, new music dropping, but not following people's lives. I think that's the issue when you follow people's lives.
And we get we become like fans of a lifestyle and that might play into this whole aura situation that we were talking about earlier. It feels like people become fans of someone's lifestyle, and then the lifestyle that the person is portraying is not even real.
Of course.
Michael Jackson was real. That's real. That was really him.
That was really him, like, bro. That moonwalks in front
of you. Exactly.
and
people, so whatever. But I tend not to use it much. It's kind of as easy as
been
that,
a difficulty
bro.
For you.
It's not that difficult when you just decide what you want your life to be like. I mean, I don't want my life to be like social media. So my page is my brand. My page is my, my story. I'm not gonna. I rarely post family on there. I rarely post if I got a girl. They're not gonna know. If I don't got a girl, they not gonna know. They can maybe infer from the music, you know. But I try to stay away from social media, even though I'm, it's kind of
we have to.
You
gotta get your music out there.
Exactly. And I gotta tell people who I am and all of that stuff. And but it doesn't. I don't think it affects me much.
That's good. That's really good, bro. What have been some of the difficulties, I would say, in your journey so far? Some of the things that maybe you want to tell people that they don't know about being an artist that you think is good for them to kind of understand in the background of what y'all go through.
I think one difficulty I would say is collaborating for me. I'm gonna say for me, for others, but in my life, I've had a personal struggle with collaborating and just
like having a feature. You're saying?
Yeah, like just sharing the talent and working in groups and working with people. I love it, but sometimes it's hard for me because I see a vision, and I that's why I record in my room. I make the beat.
That's why I asked what your studio vibe is like.
Exactly. It's in my room. I go home and I record every single night. So it's a beautiful process, and so it's kind of
really
difficult.
Personal to you.
It's extremely personal, and it's sometimes difficult when there's just so many people making music, so it's hard to pinpoint, I guess, who you should work with and who you can't work with, or who you maybe is kind of maybe a waste of time a little bit, or maybe, so it's interesting trying to figure that whole thing out, the collaborating, because I think it's very necessary. I think with people, and it's not even just the features, it's more so just talking and really being able to conversate with somebody to get a goal, to reach a goal. Sometimes it's hard. People get sidetracked, or people have changes of goals.
Yep.
In their life. I would say collaborating was a big difficulty for me.
Yeah.
But for something that I could say for others that make music, I would say it's that pride situation too.
Yeah, getting over yourself.
I think pride, just making sure that you're not losing yourself in this whole music, in the social media, in the whole industry, in the parties, and the girls or the guys or whoever you mess with or whatever it is. I feel like it's you really have to be selfless and you have to take yourself out of it.
Yeah.
In order to feel like you have, reached just for me, I guess. Like it doesn't even feel right if I'm not moving morally in how I feel with God or with myself. If I'm not moving in that way, I know something's off. I know something's wrong. And staying grounded, putting people, it's like that collaborating pieces all goes together. Putting people around you that make sure they lift you up. They, want what's best for you, not just want to take from you.
Yep.
It's just a journey, and just, working. Like it's gonna be hard some days. You have to just be consistent. You have to keep going. That's the only failure really in the music. I feel like is stopping. And I was talking about this earlier this week about, how when people go to college, they'll be like, and then they go back and they talk to the high schoolers and they'll say, oh, make the most out of every day. It goes by so quick. Like you got to make sure that you're really focused and you're making the most of talking to people, making friends and all that stuff. It's like, it's such a cliche answer. But then you go to college and then you're like, damn, that was really fast. I should have made the most or whatever. And then you go to the high school and you say the same thing.
The loop.
It's the same exact thing for music. And when artists or celebrities or whenever, they always say work, you just have to keep going. You just can't stop. That's the only failure, is stopping.
It's real.
And it doesn't make sense until you're in it, and then you're like, oh, that literally is the hardest or the only thing that I have to make sure I don't do is just stopping and quitting.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the time. It's the financial investment.
100%.
It's the putting something out. And I can even speak from like a media standpoint too. Because media, we drop obviously podcast episodes or the clips about the soccer stuff that we do. It's all the work you can put into something, drop it, and then not see the response you want. Next. Like you just they call it elephant memory. It's like in sports too. You miss the shot. Next play. Next shot. You just have to keep going,
you can't really think about it.
And when you do, it messes up the next one, and then it's a pattern. Celtics in these late game situations. That's what y'all been doing. That's why we up 2-0. I don't know what the score is right now, so maybe I should be quiet. But
there's no way you just brought up the Celtics in this interview,
bro. It's because I hate them too. Come on, baby.
All right, bet.
Listen.
All right, bet.
Comment hate.
We're good.
We do not like Boston.
We're good.
We do not like Boston out here.
Cause
out here or out here. Nah. No way.
Lakers, man. Come on.
For sure.
I need LeBron for 3 more years.
3 more? I think honestly, bro. Well, I don't want to talk shit about the Lakers. But, first season with Luka, it's a
just
wash.
Do it.
Yeah, bro, y'all can't. You can't lose in 5 to the T-Wolves.
That was
with
OD.
home court advantage with Luka and
crazy.
LeBron. That's insane. That's not Lakers. Like,
we're in a center.
You know what I'm saying? Because like Lakers, y'all have such a standard of excellence.
Yeah.
We don't actually. Like we are bouncing the second round every year. Not this year. Which would be insane.
Yeah.
And we've had home court advantage losing in the second round. Lakers just always are supposed to find a way to do that thing. 5 to the T-Wolves. I mean, shout out Ant-Man and all that, but damn.
I'm a huge Laker fan. Don't talk to me anybody else but the Lakers. But Anthony Edwards,
got it.
He's
especially
nasty.
for an American player, because right now it's all like Canadian.
Right, 100%.
Giannis is Greek. Jokic is Serbian. We need an American doing something.
He's nasty.
He's crazy, and he got the attitude for it too.
Crazy, yeah, 100%. I seen somebody had sent me this picture of him like bald and stuff. They was calling him Michael Jordan.
Oh, for sure.
It was hilarious.
Absolutely.
It was hilarious.
But honestly, bro, Bron's gonna play a couple more years. I think he's gonna get his
so.
second son on the team and then retire.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The three of them on the court. That photo, bro.
I hear that he's the best. I hear
the
he's
second
gonna
one
be
is
nice.
better. That's
what
he's going to Arizona next year or the year after.
Heard you. Big time.
So yeah, shout out to Lakers though, man. You know what I'm saying? When I first got into the NBA was 08-09. So Kobe's 4th title, and then the next season his 5th. You know what I'm saying? So, and my mom's actually from the West Coast. She's from Bakersfield, California.
Heard you.
Yeah,
big fire.
You know
big
what I'm saying? And then my dad's Spanish from Spain.
Okay.
They have Pau Gasol. So I was like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
I had to support the Lakers a little bit.
That was a squad.
That was a squad, bro.
Oh, my gosh.
For sure.
That was a squad.
What a time, man. R.I.P. Kobe as well, man. A lot of LA legends we got to R.I.P.
Yeah,
but speaking of LA, I got to show you something absolutely crazy, bro.
Yeah, let me see.
So there's a billboard that says "Just Blood," innocent on it. And it's a double entendre, so I want to get your live reaction. I don't know how this is like legally up, because if I'm not mistaken, she's throwing up a set.
Oh, I'm a civilian.
I'm a civilian too, but I know what she's doing.
She's doing American Sign Language. I have no idea what that means.
So I'm gonna explain this. This is crazy. So I realized. So this is nuts.
That's OD though.
She no, this is insane, right?
Yeah,
how is that on a billboard?
Los Angeles.
How's that? You know what I'm saying? So she's actually the woman who started a fraudulent. She went to Stanford, brilliant student. She left. This is a real person. She left. Let's say after 2 years to start her own business. So what she's actually holding was the idea that you could take a sliver of blood, run it through a test, and test for cancer. Like 20 things. The idea was great. The technology never worked.
Yeah.
And it somehow got into like CVS and everything because, you know, we just be trusting white people.
Of course.
And then there's a whole Netflix show about, or a Hulu show about it. So just completely fraudulent business. But I guess she got. Is
that an ad for that whole thing?
It's another movie or documentary about it. And it's called Just Blood because she put the blood in it. But we're in LA and she's throwing up.
That's a crazy ad.
So it's a double blood.
I don't know how. That's OD.
I
can't speak on it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
Insane. Like,
you told me before you had something to show me. I wasn't really expecting that.
I could not. And I like kept seeing it. I just could not believe it because she's a crazy criminal herself. Then it's like this. It's just too much, bro. I just don't know how that's. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a civilian.
Yeah, bro. Listen, me too. I'm just. Absolutely crazy stuff, man. Shout out Los Angeles, though.
Yeah, shout out LA. I love it here.
Yeah. Oh, man. I want to go through just a couple of your projects and kind of tell me the mindset you were in going through these. So
that's cool.
We're going to go in order. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just list the 4 and then you can kind of talk me through it. We have After Night, Before Morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for Your Consideration 2. I Thought You Weren't Hungry. And then Lost in the Meaning album.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fire. That's fire. This is a cool question.
Let's get that career journey and kind of where you were at each moment.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, before the first one I think was 2020. I think.
Yeah.
After Night Before Morning. Yeah. That's with my homie Listo, which is now my manager. It's interesting. Yeah, it's crazy. But he produced the whole thing. And we, you know, wrote it together and really locked in the studio for endless nights for that one. And that was super cool. Super dark vibes. We just turn off all the lights, super dark room, no color lights, just dark, you know. Yeah, he had just like kind of changed some stuff in the studio space that he had, and so we didn't have no lights. We just turned everything off. It was dark, and then we would come out and just bright outside. We were like, dang, we just whole night gone. But and which really, you know, ties into that title. But before that, it was really when I was in college and when I was in high school working on music. I remember I had released this Love Jones was like my first, I guess, project, we'll call it. I remember dropping it on. I dropped it on everything, but then I ended up taking it down and only keeping it on SoundCloud.
Got you.
But that was definitely the first, I guess, big thing that I felt like I did in music, just dropping a project.
That means a lot, bro. Yeah. You gotta get it out there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It was the start. It was the beginning of a lot. From there, going into After Night Before Morning, super dark vibes, R&B. You know, my first and maybe only time really doing features for real.
Yeah.
Really cool, like like simulation vibes. I know
Yeah.
that's a song, but it's really just like it's weird. You know, I
Yeah,
really
moody.
like the
Yeah.
exactly very moody. Going into what was the second one? I'm tripping.
Yeah, let me get the order.
Thanks for your
right.
consideration.
Yeah.
So that was shout out my boy Saint. That was a second
Someone just
installment.
shouted out Saint too. I think Kenzo knows
Yeah,
Saint.
probably.
Someone knows Saint. Yeah.
Yeah, Saint is the homie from out here. I don't know too many people that don't know him from out here.
Fire.
Yeah,
Shout out Saint, bro.
Yeah, shout out Saint.
And on the
big
east
time.
side, we have in New York we have St. John. So I always keep clarifying.
Oh
but
yeah,
no,
I know
it's
St. John. Yeah. No, Saint Taylor.
Saint Taylor.
That's
Okay,
my
gotcha.
boy. And we've been working on music for I don't know how long. For super long, and just being close and ended up dropping like 2 EPs together and doing a lot of music together, and we still have a lot of stuff. We're just sitting there, you know. But yeah, really cool vibes. Just brought in a little bit more of that West Coast feel, I would say.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that song, by the way.
Thank you, I
shit
appreciate
is infectious, bro.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's interesting because it's so it's almost just like this R&B conversation that we had. It's really wide. A lot of people take it in different ways.
Yeah.
And, but there's still like a core element of like maybe a rim shot or maybe, you know, something simple that's in the drums or a melody.
Yeah.
But I think that project with Saint really kind of brought that more into the play because I was really focused on this R&B lane with my boy Listo and just in my own, you know, discovery of music and search through who I want to be, my brand, all of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, once I got to college and once I started, you know, really getting into hip hop. I was into hip hop when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like Tribe Called Quest, a lot of old, you know, a lot of legends. Old, exactly, a lot of old hip hop. But once I got to college, that's when I started getting introduced to, you know, Blast and even though he's still you know teetering on the R&B,
I'll
but
call him an R&B artist.
Yeah, I would call him R&B as well. But he definitely has some hip hop elements within
or like melodic
the beats.
rap.
Exactly. Bino,
sure.
a lot of the
Bino's super tough.
Nipsey,
bro.
all of the
West Coast,
West Coast rap. And I don't want to. Blast and Vino are definitely in their own lane.
Yeah.
But just learning about and really getting involved in that whole, you know, side of the music.
Yeah.
Definitely played a role into what I'm releasing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that Saint project is what really brought that in. And then we had I Thought You Weren't Hungry.
Yeah. Great title.
I appreciate it.
We've all been there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, literally. That was the whole reason for it. I think I released that. It might have been in a time where like social media was running the world. Like it still is.
23,
but
right? That year?
I think so. Yeah, I think 23. It was just it seemed to be on the forefront of everybody's mind. Everybody was on the phone. Everybody had, you know, all the different memes were going crazy at that time. There was a lot of stuff going on the internet at that time. So I remember wanting to do a project that was a little bit that was a little bit more of a story and less of a you know, for the title, less of a like a broad title. I wanted it to be an experience that holds weight of what this whole thing is about. Like I Thought You Weren't Hungry. It's like, you know, you eating with a girl and she, you know, I'm good, I don't want nothing. You get your own food and she's like, oh, let me get a fryer. Can I get a bite? That shake look good, whatever.
Always
exactly. And it's just that whole experience and you know, normally not normally for me.
Yeah, look, you're good at that. You might be media trained for it.
I might be. But for me, I always would share. I don't want to speak for anybody else. They might not be, you know, the most sharing. But I would always give.
That's why
whatever.
they don't pay, bro.
Exactly. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, right.
But that whole you know scene plays out only kind of in a scenario when you like a person. You know, when you're in something that's a little bit deeper. It's very rare that I see a first date and she asking for some food.
That's a lot.
That
might
crazy.
Be a red flag.
That's a little crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's why I wanted to name it that because it's an experience that you have when you're in, you know, a relationship or when you're in something that's a little bit deeper. And that's what the whole project is about. I remember songs like If This Isn't Love, I remember that song. I love that song a lot.
Yeah,
Regardless, a lot of songs that are just about love, and that's really what most of my songs are about.
for sure.
Um,
and then lastly,
and then
Lost in the Meaning album.
Lost in Meaning, yeah. Definitely my favorite.
Love that project, bro. That shit is fire.
Thank you.
Lemonade.
Thank you.
When I was first looking through to figure out who I wanted to get and everything. Lemonade, I was like, nah, this shit's crazy.
That's
bro.
love.
Yeah,
That's
that shit is just too.
love.
It's fucking perfect, bro. Like that shit, I could just rinse and repeat and repeat. That shit is so perfect.
You, bro.
And the bars, that shit is fire.
It's just real. It's just
real.
my real life.
We need songs like that too,
it's just
bro.
my real life.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's why I think this is my favorite project, because it felt the most me and the most honest. All of my music is honest, but this one, I felt like I was. Some of my exes were mad. Like they're like,
for real.
Yeah, like I was saying a lot of stuff, and it's not like you would hear it and know like who I'm talking about exactly.
But they know.
But they knew.
Yeah.
Like off rip, and so it was interesting, but it's my favorite just because it was, with the cover. I painted the cover myself.
Really?
Yeah, I painted
you do a lot, bro.
Yeah, I try.
Fire.
I just like art. I just like being creative.
Yeah, that's fire, man.
And I remember, not remember, but I did a whole time lapse of me painting the cover. That's on YouTube. You can watch with the whole album playing in the back. It's really fire.
That's awesome.
And
that's a dope visual experience.
Thank you. Yeah. I thought it was really creative, and I thought, even if the artwork didn't come out the best or whatever, because I don't just paint on the normal. But I do know once I did it, it felt so right. I was like, oh yeah, this is crazy.
That's so
like,
fire.
I have a whole write up on the top right of just me manifesting a lot of things from my life. And, and the whole lost in meaning concept is just me trying to find meaning, whether it's in life and music and love and in art and all these different things. And that's really what the whole album is about. Like, you hear strictly R&B stuff. You hear some rap stuff. You hear some, popish inspired stuff. There's the music is maybe a little bit lost in meaning.
Yeah.
The talking, the writing that I have in it is, there's some love songs, there's breakup songs, there's confused, there's, all these different emotions.
The full spectrum,
exactly. And it's just the entirety of being lost wherever you are. And then even in my life at that point, I mean, even still, a little bit now, it's just, it's all about growth. It's all about learning. It's all about being aware. But, just really trying to figure out who I am and figure out who I want to be and what my goals actually are for my life, and all of those things. And that's why it's easily probably my favorite project.
Yeah. That's fire.
Yeah. It came together really nicely, I felt like, too, because it feels... Or was packaged as Lost, but it feels so cohesive to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
it definitely is, bro. 100%.
Thank you. Yeah. So, definitely my favorite.
That's fire. Sure. I mean, it should be, right? It was your most recent, so you always want to keep kind of elevating within your music and everything. 100%. So, within those, that's about a 4-year span between all those projects. What was your career looking like through that time? So in those 4 years, were there any, major milestones that you remember happening? Some person you met that you looked up to growing up, certain shows that you did? What were kind of some of those, really special, like, I'll never forget this first blank in those 4 year spans?
I mean, I have to touch on before the 4-year span. In high school.
The whole thing, everything, bro.
Because the whole journey.
I was gonna ask you, when did you even know you wanted to pursue music as a career? Because that's a whole different.
It is. It is. I was playing basketball, and I went to college for basketball.
Oh, for real? Where'd you go?
I went to CLU. I played D3.
Fire.
Super cool up in Thousand Oaks.
That's around here.
Yeah, it's around here. I mean, a couple hours away.
Yeah.
But super, invested in basketball. But I was also singing. So when I was in high school, I was playing basketball. Whatever. So I have basketball practice at like 6:45, 7:45 till like 9. Really late. Whatever. Taking the bus home. But then we got. In the morning, I had like vocal jazz classes I was taking early.
Throw the depot, bro.
Exactly. Not low key. Except I just went the other way.
Yeah, facts. Look,
but I want to start in high school because probably the biggest thing for me was I just remember we had an assembly or something.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but I remember I sang Gravity by John Mayer on the piano too. I played the piano while I sang, and Stevie Wonder was there, and it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like he didn't. I didn't care if he liked it. I don't care if he. I don't even care. Just seeing him listen to my voice was the craziest thing to me, and always thinking, and always thinking back to it. It's kind of mind. It's trippy. Yeah. Like it doesn't even really make sense to me.
Back to the beginning of the conversation. Yeah. Stevie Wonder, bro.
Crazy.
All-time GOAT.
Are you kidding me?
Motown legend. Like,
and to be like sitting there like.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
And I'm
that's
looking
unbelievable,
up,
bro.
Yeah, at like what was that? Probably like maybe 14, I guess. 15.
You were 15 years old?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right.
Early high school. Wow.
Yeah, and so that was definitely the biggest thing that happened for me. That just really changed my whole perspective on like, oh, whoa,
this is real.
This is crazy.
This is
you
real.
know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and so from there when I started really getting into the music was college because that's when I slowed down on basketball. I didn't want to do 5 a.m. practices. I wasn't trying to do all that. Yeah. So I would just, record all the time, stop playing basketball, and took it more serious. Started releasing stuff like that. And there's so many experiences. I mean, I've been blessed to perform. I've always loved performing and performing with my band, especially. Yeah. So I would say over the course of 4 years, I've been able to perform at least 50 to 100 times, which is unless you really doing it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a lot of shows.
Yeah, it's a lot of shows.
That's a lot of shows,
and for somebody that, like we were talking about Lil Russell earlier, he probably does 50 to 100 every year.
He does a lot of shows. They're on tour right now.
Exactly. All the time. Yeah. And so for me, not really having a brand and a solidified style at that time, it was like super mandatory for me to get out, perform, and that. And I realized very quickly that it's a very good tool for me, just marketing wise, of being able to see people and touch people.
It's different. It hits different.
It hits a lot different. Just using my talent, using the skill that I've been given.
And I can say, and you saw the proof, he can sing live. Listen, some of y'all really, you know what I'm saying? You got the real vocal talent.
There was no auto-tune on that.
No auto-tune on that, yeah.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint points as I've been talking and as I've been trying to, figure out this question. I've been trying to think of like what are some really
going
crazy.
Fast too. Yeah.
Yes, it's going very fast. I'm meeting a lot of different people, talking to a lot of different people, and it's all I'm blessed and super grateful to be in the position that I am. Younger me would be happy as hell.
That's what matters, bro. Speaking 100%. Of like the arbitrary goals and the lines, I think that is the line.
Yeah, I mean,
that's as simple as you can keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's as simple
as you can keep it. 4 years ago when I started. Like I've already completed, what I feel like, I'm super happy. And so there's nothing really that somebody can try to give me. Yeah. That if it doesn't align with who I am or what I want or my morals or my belief or all of that, I'm so okay with saying no because I'm just happy. There's no real. You can't really beat happiness. You feel me?
That's a fact.
That's just real life.
And especially in music and being in the city that you're in, though we know what Hollywood, as they call it, can be out here. Like that is the most important thing because that self-worth, self-joy, self-everything. I'm good like this forever. I'm good. If it's not for me, it's not for me. Next thing.
Exactly.
And a lot of people get lost in that. We hear these tragic stories about artists all the time. Yeah. And not just artists. It could be actors. It could be athletes. Anything in that entertainment fame world, and especially out here, bro. So it's great to hear you have that groundedness of like, listen, I know my purpose. I know I'm here. And I'm going to keep it pushing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, okay. This is one thing I'll say.
Go ahead, yeah.
When I was working, I used to work at Target.
Okay.
And when I was working at Target, this might be there's so much controversy in the world.
There is a lot of controversy in the world.
When I was at Target, Tory Lanez was that last customer one night.
Oh shit.
He was the last customer one night. And I remember scanning people and I was like, yo, that's Tory. This is before everything.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Always
this
got
is before everything.
Yeah.
And he was in line. I was like, no way, I'm about to scan out Tory Lanez. This is like past closing. I'm like, tired. I'm want to get out, going to go home. But I'm realizing, I'm like, yo, I can stay whatever we got to do. I'll scan whatever. And so I just remember when he came, whatever, he asked me, he was like, oh, we're about to do some lasagna or whatever. Like, where's the tins? Like, for whatever, for the oven. And I told him it was upstairs or something like that. And he goes running upstairs because we're closed. Like, he was whatever. So he ran. Like 5 minutes later, he comes from behind me. Like, not from upstairs. He comes from right behind me. And he's like, yo. And he looks at my name tag. He's like, Randy. I'm like, he just said my name? That's crazy, right? So he's like, Randy, them shits was not over there. I was like, my bad, my fault, whatever. Yeah. When he said, he was like, bro, it's good. That just means this job is not for you. Yeah. When he said that, like, something hit for me. I was like, oh, crazy. That's really cool. That's a universe really fire. Moment for sure. Yeah, it was super meant to be said, super meant to be heard. Yeah. Meant to happen. It was like perfect timing. Yeah. It was all that, scan them out, boom, boom, ended up paying for somebody that was the last person that was actually, it was like a father and a son or whatever, paid for them. It was really cool. Wow. I think that was really big for me. I don't care. I'm a stand-in. I'm a big Tory fan. Okay. The music is fire. Yeah. I'm a big art fan. Yeah. So when it comes to art, and it's I don't know the person. I only know what I know. So and I've never met him, so I won't even speak on it. Yeah. But the art is super cool, and I think I'll always be the fan of the art for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that's a pretty good way to get towards the end, bro. That was a beautiful, beautiful story. But is there anything else that you want to share? Any lasting piece of advice that you'd want to, give to anybody chasing their dreams, or specifically in music, or maybe they just moved out in LA trying to, navigate. And then any questions for me as well?
I got you. I got you. What camera can I look at? Right in the middle?
Yeah, yes, sir. Not that one. This one right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
Look, big one.
Oh, it is the big one right here.
Easy money.
I'm tweaking.
Look, hear me out. You have to find who you are. You got to. If you don't know who you are, you're going to be pulled in directions that you don't even know. You have to be stern. You have to be strict with who you are. You have to protect yourself. There's so many things that will get you off course, will get your mind thinking about something else, will get you moving a way that you never even thought you would be moving because you weren't strict on how you move. You really have to figure out how do I want to be perceived? How do I want to, react to things or respond to things? How do I want to go about this whole business? If this is what you want to do, the art, the entertainment. Yeah. Because if you're not strict on it, you can get tired. You can get pushed to ways that it gets that deep. you can't come back from. You know what I'm saying? And so exactly. And even just a movie like Sinners, like
just saw that. Great film.
It's like one of the spoiler, but one of the twins being so strict in his belief.
Shout out Smoke.
He was able to stay online, and he never got changed. He never got turned. He never shied away from what he stood on. Whereas the other one, maybe a little bit more gullible, maybe a little bit more, happy-go-lucky a little bit. Yeah. He was still very, very strong morals. Could tell you he had a beautiful soul. Yeah. But he wasn't strict on how he moved. He wasn't really aligned strictly. Making sure you know who you are so that whenever you get into any situation, you know the response. You already know how you're supposed to move because you've already solidified who you are. That's the biggest thing that I could tell anybody that's trying to get into this entertainment stuff. And then if you really want to do it, just work. Just do it. There's no really...
Shout out Nike. Just do it, literally.
Just do it.
Life's about getting in the ring, I say. Just actually just do it.
100%.
Without that, nothing happens.
Then,
yes, sir.
You said a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I do have a question for you.
Holla at me.
Please give me top 5 R&B artists.
Right now?
Right here, right now. You can give me like
legends.
You can give
vibe
me anything.
Okay, just like give me 5 artists.
You can give me 5, and you can give maybe like 2 or 3 honorable mentions if you want to. But I'm super curious.
Yeah.
Because even just you throwing Vino Vriday and all the things that I've seen from you, it's super cool. It seems like you have a very eclectic taste in music,
Thank you,
in style and all that stuff. So
that.
I'm really curious on who you like.
I mean, if we're gonna give out shout out to some of the current legends, definitely Bryson,
for sure,
Party, Summer, SZA. I think those four. I'd say Brent as well.
Big time.
Those are kind of like the five that have shaped my listening the last decade or so, I would say, to do both the men and the women's side of things.
Okay.
Janae a little bit earlier. I think she's a little bit more of a legend because she came out, 2011?
A little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier. So I'd say those would be like the popular ones. In terms of up and coming and kind of like the next wave, Leon Thomas has to get a huge shout out. He's unbelievable, bro. Saw him live, actually at a soccer event.
Oh, word.
So that was like, did I put this event on, bro? So it was the 10-year anniversary of New York City Football Club, and their performer was Leon Thomas. I'm like, we got New York, we got soccer, we got live R&B. Did I make this event? It was incredible.
It was just for you. Yeah,
it was recently. So Mutt had obviously been out. He did 5, and I thought he was gonna do maybe like a couple songs, sing along. No, he brought his band out.
Oh,
did 6 songs, I think.
Oh yeah.
He went crazy.
I can tell he's the kind of guy that I'm gonna make sure my band comes.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So I think Leon can really not just carry this next gen or be one of the leaders, like the 5 I just mentioned. I think the next 5, he's in that next 5. Yeah. And I think it's because vocals, incredible. The writing might be his best asset. And then the live instrumentation, both that he can play instruments with his band and you hear it in the music.
Right.
And so I think he also can be a little bit of a bridge between people our age and then the uncles and aunties who, R&B's dead, all that BS. Yeah. I think he brings in some of the essence from the past while still 100%. Remaining new. So I think he's going to kind of be one of the leaders of the new school. Isaiah Falls.
Nasty.
Incredible, bro.
Nasty.
Lovers Only. He just dropped side A of his debut album, which is a very interesting strategy.
Right.
To drop the debut album in 2 pieces. Side A is flawless.
That's fine.
I'm actually giving it 10 out of 10. 21 minutes, no skips. He similarly, I've seen him perform live in Brooklyn.
Tough.
Same sort of thing, vocals, writing, live instrumentation with the band. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's going to be, I think this debut album is going to put him in another stratosphere too. Okay. So I think he's incredible. Sailor, she just dropped her debut album. I didn't listen to it yet.
She's tough. I haven't been able to peep, but I have a lot of respect for her.
You know what I mean?
Tough.
So she's fire. I think K1 out in London. She's going crazy. That Do What I Say record is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Aaron Page from Houston. Pretty Girls Like R&B.
Yep.
So I like Sexy Drill, but I call it Sexy Drill and B. So it's like Sexy Drill with the R&B flow over it. Yeah. I like that a lot. Nippa also in the UK. Love your music, bro. Obviously, don't even have to mention it, but since you're here, of course, you're absolutely in that category. Safa, just interviewed her as well. She's New York based, but from Virginia. She's super tough. So definitely check out that episode as well. There's just so many. Kari, we're in the West Coast, so I gotta say Kari from the Bay, crazy. I like Nueve Leo. He from out here,
big time.
Who else from out here? There's so many. Yeah, just there's a lot of artists, bro. I could keep going, but Chase Shakur, shout out Chase Shakur.
Oh yeah. Chase
Atlanta,
Shakur is nasty.
Big shout out to him. Shout out his manager Jono. He performed at my 1-year anniversary party actually. So that was my first live music incorporation. So shout out Chase, and then his debut album dropped on my birthday actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so it was for
February
you. February 7th.
He
dropped it for you.
So, yeah. Wonder Love, one of the best albums of the year so far too. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's some of the new crop. But there's so many more names I can mention.
Yeah.
Thames even right. That's like Afro R&B.
So crazy.
I think Brent still has another notch he can hit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. I just think R&B is in an incredible space.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here, to push new age R&B to the forefront, both media side and then events, man. So that's why we're here, man.
Big fire,
for
bro.
Sure.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah,
I love it,
bro.
Because I feel you on you could go forever.
I could keep going, 100%, bro. But I appreciate you sliding through, bro. Thank you again for the performance. I think it was a beautiful incorporation for the night.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for this conversation. This was definitely one of my favorite podcasts so far. And we're gonna stay tapped in, bro.
Easy money.
Yes,
easy
sir.
money. Oh,
appreciate
real quick.
And shout out yourself. Any music you want to. I was gonna say whatever's next.
Randy White.
Yes, sir.
If you didn't remember, I'm black. It's not crazy hard. Randy White. Okay. R&B music. I'm gonna be releasing a lot of music this year. This is a very experimental year for me. I'm gonna be trying a lot of new things, trying different sounds, and just really seeing what y'all like. So please be vocal with me. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you do like. Please, tap in on all the different socials. Randy White. You should be able to find me. Yeah, we're gonna get it going.
For sure. Episode 19, y'all. Peace.